Hey guys, welcome back. I'm James Yuan Dalmasio, and today we're going to walk you through our Java data structures final project. It is called the Smart City Emergency Response Management System, or SCERMS for short. This is a simulation that handles emergency reports, responders, city locations, and summaries using custom-built data structure. So everything here, the binary search tree, the graph, the manual map, all of it are we coded from scratch. So in this video, we'll explain every class in the project, every important line, how the logic works, and why we designed it this way. So now, let's jump to the video.
So before we show the code, here's what makes this project special. We didn't randomly choose data structures. The project itself required specific features, and each feature needed its own custom data structure. Let's break them down. So the first feature is the emergency case management, and the required structure is binary search tree, or BST. Emergency must be registered, stored, and prioritized based on severity. So to implement this feature, we built three Java files: emergency.java, emergencynode.java, and emergencybst.java. We store emergency where higher severity go left. That makes the most urgent emergency easy to retrieve. So the next feature is the city road network modeling, and the required data structure is graph. The city needs to be modeled with nodes and roads. So we built citygraph.java using adjacency matrix, direct distance, and node names. This satisfies the requirement to model a real city map. The third feature is the unit and resource allocation. The required data structure is custom map. We needed to manage responders like ambulances, fire trucks, and police. So we built three Java files to implement this feature: responder unit.java and responder map.java. This stores all responders, track their availability, and finds the nearest available unit. Next feature is the dispatch optimization, and the required data structure is the integration of BST, graph, and map. This requirement says the system must integrate all three structures: BST for emergency priority, graph to compute distance, and map to check unit availability. We combine them in a Java file, simulation.java, to create a working dispatch flow. So the next feature is the text-based visualization, and the needed data structure is graph visualization. We needed to show routes in the console. So instead of complex graphics, we print station 4 to zone 2. This satisfies the feature 5 requirement using simple text visualization. So the sixth feature is the emergency simulation mode, and we implement a data structure simulation controller. This is implemented in the simulation class. This loops the system, handles menu, processes emergencies, dispatches responders, and updates summaries. This fulfills the simulation requirement. So the next feature is the summary reporting. Summary reports must track total emergency, dispatch units, resolve incidents, and average distance. So we implemented this with summary report.java. Simple counters plus averages equals feature 7 complete.
Alright, now we're going to build our smart city emergency response management system. First, let's create a new Java project. So now I'm using Eclipse, but you can follow along with any IDE. First, I'll go to File, then click New Project, then choose Java. I'll name this project Smart City Emergency System, and then click Finish. So now we have an empty Java project. To keep everything organized, I'll create a package for all my classes. So let's right click on the SRC folder, then click New, and then Package. And for here, I'll name it Finals Project 107. So this project will contain all the files for my project, and inside this package we'll put all our classes. And before anything else, we're not touching the main class yet. We're going to build the system's internal structure first. So, and only call it from main after everything else is ready. So for now, JP will help us to understand the concept of the other classes that we made.
Hello everyone, my name is Jan Paul de Consorta from 2CSA, and I'm the one who will explaining the emergency class in our subject. So now, let me walk you through the emergency class. So this is one of the core parts of our Smart City Emergency Response System. So this class basically represents one single emergency case that gets reported in the program. Every time the user reports something like a fire, a medical situation, or a police incident, the program creates an object of this class. So let's break it down. So as you can see, I added this static variable so every emergency automatically gets a unique ID. So the first emergency becomes ID number 1, the next becomes ID 2, and so on. So this makes it way easier to track emergencies later. So next, as you can see, these are the details for every emergency. First is the type, whether it's fire, medical, or police. Severity, rated 1 to 10. Location ID, which node in the city graph at the emergency happened. And ID, the unique ID I talked about earlier. So each emergency object stores all this info so the rest of the system can process it. So as you can see, this constructors runs every time a new emergency is created it. So it assigns the next available ID, stores the type, stores the severity, and stores the location. So one line of code in the simulation will instantly create a complete emergency record. So this method just make it easier to print the emergency to the console. Whenever the system needs to show the emergency, for example, when dispatching, so this is the format it uses. So now, let's move on to the next part of our project, which is the emergency node class. So this is a really small class, but it's super more important because it forms the buildings blocks of our binary search tree for emergency. So here's the code. So let me explain what's happening here. So in a binary search tree, everything is made up of nodes. So each node stores some data, a left child and a right child. So in this project, every node in our tree will hold exactly one emergency. So emergency data, so this lines means the node is storing an emergency object. That's the emergency report with type, severity, ID, and location. So the BST can compare severities and rearrange and arrange the nodes based on priority. So next, the emergency node left, then emergency node right. So these two lines tell us where the next nodes are. So left, child node with higher severity, which is more urgent. Then right is child node with lower severity. So this is what allows the VST to work like a priority structure. Whenever we insert a new emergency into a VST, we wrap it inside a emergency node object. So this constructor simply takes the emergency and stores it inside the node. So next, let's move on to one of the most important data structures in this entire project, which is the emergency VST class. So this class is responsible for storing all emergency cases inside a binary search tree. And more importantly, it allows the system to prioritize emergencies based on severity. So the higher the severity, the more urgent the case is. So this is where I declare the root of the tree. As you can see, the root is simply the topmost node of our binary search tree. From here, the entire structure grows left and right. So next, as you can see, when a new emergency is reported, the system calls this insert method. But instead of putting all the logic here, I keep things clean by calling a helper method insert rect. So this is where the binary search tree rules come in. So here's the logic. If the spot is empty, we create a new node. If the new emergency has high severity, then the current node it goes to the left. If it's lower or equal, it goes to the right. So this means that more urgent cases naturally gather on the left side of the tree. Less urgent cases move to the right side. And because we're using recursion, the insertion travels down the tree until it finds the correct position. So because all urgent emergencies are stored in the left side, the most urgent emergency is simply the leftmost node in the tree. So these methods walk down the left direction of the tree until it can go further. And that's the emergency with the higher severity. So when an emergency is resolved, we removed it from the BST. Just like insertion, deletion uses a recursive helper. So the delete functions handles three classic BST cases. The number one is no children. So just remove the node. Number two is one child. Replace the node with add that child. Then the three is the two children, which is find the smallest node with the right subtree the successor. Copy its data and delete the successor. So this is standard BST deletion logic. So now we added this for debugging. It prints the tree contents in order from highest severity to lowest. So as you can see in the return root, is equals to null. It's simply a helpful function to check if the tree has no emergencies. So
Hello again, I am Mark Nathan Arboco, and now let's look at citygraph.java. This class handles the feature 2, city road network modeling. So first is the adjacency matrix plus node names. So we are using an adjacency matrix to represent all the roads between locations. So each location is given an index, node 0, node 1, node 2, and so on. So next is the constructors to initialize the distances. So first is the city graph method. So this sets up the graph so all the distances are either 0 if it's the same node or no road if there's no direct path. Next is the add location method. When I add a location, it returns its index, and that's the ID we use everywhere. Next is the add road method, and this creates an undirected road between two nodes. Next is the get direct distances. So we only use direct roads, which keep the system simple. Next method is the print graph. So this is the text-based visualization for the feature file. It shows the city layout in the console.
I am Leslie Gracia, and the next class in our project is Responder Unit.java. This class represents a single emergency responder like an ambulance, a fire truck, or a police patrol. Let's look out the out. This field describes everything we need to know about each responder. The ID, each responder gets a unique number. The name, like an ambulance, the type, like medical, fire, or police. Base location, base location ID. Please note in our city graph this unit phase in. Available. Tells us whether the unit is free or already dispatched. This lets us reach responder almost like a real world rescue unit. Next one is responder here. When the system starts, we create units using this constructor. Every unit begins as available, meaning they're ready to respond. This method is why the reason our responder list looks named and readable when printed. Instead of showing memory addresses, it prints something like, for example, unit number 1, then the name, ambulance A1, then the type, medical, and a note number 3. Then it tells us whether it's available. Next is responder map.java. This is our automate map structure for storing all responder units. We're not using HashMap because the project requires us to build our own data structure. We store all responder units in a simple array and track how many units we have using the size variable. We start with an array of size 10. If it's just full, we'll manually expand it just like how array lists work internally. This mimics how dynamic arrays grow. When the array is full, we create a new bigger one, copy everything over, and continue. Simple and effective. This prints the status of every responder using the toString method we have made earlier. This method this is the magic of this class. It does three things. 1. Checks all the available units. 2. Uses the city graph to get the distance from the unit base to the emergency location. And 3. Picks the closest unit. This fulfills the dispatcher's logic of our project.
Hello everyone, my name is Chrysler Joseph Escueta. So now I'm gonna break down the biggest class of the entire system, which is simulation.java. So this class is the brain of the smart city emergency system. It connects everything: the binary tree, the graph, the responder map, the summary report, and the user input. So these objects allow the simulation to access every part of the system, which is the initialize system method. So this is where I set up the city and responders before the program starts, which is the nodes where we name it the central HQ, zone 1, hospital, and the police station. Then it adds roads and the responders. So this method lets the user report a new emergency, which is the dispatch next method. So this is the main logic of the system. So the steps is get most urgent emergency, find the nearest available unit, compute direct distance, print route, update summary, mark unit busy and then free, delete emergency from BST, which is the binary tree, and run the this is where the run methods occur. So the run method occur contains the entire menu, which is the show city, show responders, report emergency, dispatch, print binary tree, and print summary, and it loops until the user exits. So now we're done explaining how we did the code of our program. Let's move on to the final part of our presentation, which is the testing of output. So this is the output testing of our Java program called SCERMS, which is Simple City Emergency Response Management System. When I run the program, the main class creates a simulation object and calls the run method. On the screen, we immediately see the main menu, which is the show city graph, show responders, show emergency, dispatch next emergency, debug print BST, show summary report, and exit. So test 1 is typing 1 and press enter. So the program calls city_graph.printgraph and displays the current city map. So this is the sample output. This means node 0 is the city hall is connected to hospital and police headquarters. Node 1 is hospital connected to city hall and mall, and so on. Test 2 is show the responders. When I enter 2, the program calls responders map and print units and prints all responder units. So these are the units, which is the ambulance A1 at node 3, fire truck F1, fire at node 0, and patrol police at node 4. So all responders units created in the simulation are stored in responder map. Their base locations and availability status are displayed correctly. So test 3, report emergency. Now we test reporting an emergency using 3, report emergency. Let's type 3 and press enter. Now we put fire and the severity 10 and the location ID, which is let's try putting 3. So the it recorded the emergency number 1, fire severity 10, location 3. So test 4, let's dispatch the next emergency. So as you can see, dispatching the ambulance 1 route is hospital 3 to hospital 3. So inside this option, the program gets the most use urgent emergency using emergency BST that get most urgent, uses responder map that find nearest location ID city graph to find the nearest available unit, marks that unit as not available, and removes the emergency from the tree. So test number 5 is debug print binary search system. And as you can see, emergency BST is in order. So the program calls emergency BST that print in order and prints the emergency still waiting in the tree, ordered by severity. So test 5 passed. Let's go to test 6, summary report. So as you can see, As I enter 6, the program prints a short summary. For example, total reported, total dispatch 1, which I entered last a minute ago, and the total resolved, which is 1, and the average distance 0. So the summary is based on the counters and the current status of the binary search tree and the responder map. The numbers match the actions we performed during testing. So text. So this is how the testings happen. So this completes our output testing of the SCERMS Java application. We have verified that the city graph is printed correctly. Responder units are displayed. Emergencies can be reported, stored in a binary search tree, and dispatched. And then the system can show the internal BSD for debugging and a summary of the report of operations. And that's all. Thank you.